Okay. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Boy Dave with Affordable Door and Gates. So, Mr. James Brown always comes up with great questions. My buddy, I appreciate everything you comment about. I really do. So, I'm going to kind of go on a rant today. It's just skewed from all different things a little bit, but we're going to talk about the windows replacement glass that you were talking about that you have some issues with. I can't say that I have too many issues with replacement glass. I normally always go through the vendor or whoever the manufacturer is if it's insulated glass. If it's non-insulated glass, I typically go to a glass shop, a single pane, thin little glass. I just go to the glass shop. It's a lot easier. We don't do a ton of them, but when we do, there's certain places that I kind of do and I will do and I won't do. Residential is really tough. It comes right out of here. It comes out of their own pocket. So they always really have a hard time when they pull that wallet out and the little, moths fly out and they crack it them. And they go, how much is it gonna be? And you go, it's gonna be 150. 100 and what? How do you sleep at night? And you go, oh my gosh. Have you not seen the price of gas? Do you not know what car insurance costs and tires and oil changes and brakes and the overhead? So residential, I typically try to stay away. I get that if they have insulated, but I really try to push the customer to have a younger kid do it. If we come over, it just all depends. I try to pre-warn them how much it's going to be roughly, and the list goes on. And then sometimes they'll just replace the garage door, So a little story. The last one I did was for the DPW. And they were young kids there on the weekend, horse playing around. They threw something at the glass. It broke it. So they put some cardboard over it. So typically what I do is I tear apart the other one that was next to it and I measure that glass because I'm like, I don't know if it's OCD, but I'm like, want to make sure everything is like going to fit and I don't have to do this 5 times. So I measure the glass and the existing one that's good, not the one that's next to it smashed. And I take those dimensions because sometimes they're glued in, so you can't take it. I mean, I'd love to in a perfect world. I would love to just take the glass out and take it to the glass shop and go, boom, and here and go, make it. And just to this dimension, this is exactly what I need. But that typically doesn't work because you know how it is. You put another hole in there, and now they freak out. Oh my gosh, the wind's coming in, the heater's running, the birds are flying, and they go crazy. So I measure the crap out of it. I have had sometimes where I had to scrape away some of the metal and stuff and the foam and to make things fit and to, and whatever and massage it. Hey, so I wanted to add, since it was such a nice day, my uncle put a tree stand out here. I never went out in it, so I was just testing it out. So I'm sitting in a tree. Not even hunting season, but it's so beautiful out. Anyways, I wanted to butt in here for a second because I wanted to tell you a story. I wanted to tell you a story about that DPW. And the things that some people might not understand or know about. So when I did that DPW job, I went there and I took those dimensions and I took it to a glass shop. And I ended up having them make the glass. And I think it was like 3 or 4 days. And of course the vendor, the customer's already calling me, hey, did you come here? Did you, and it's like, look, it takes some time, right? I can't make everybody else jump. Even though I jump, doesn't mean I can make everybody else jump. And so I finally get the glass. I go down there and there's a nice woman down there. Secretary, could be the owner's wife. I have no clue. Just an employee. I have no clue. And I'm picking the glass up and I think it was somewhere between $30 and $60 for a single pane glass. And I thought for such a small amount, I'm just going to pay cash. So I paid cash. She gave me a receipt and I went on my way. It had to be maybe about almost 6 months later. It was quite a while. I get a invoice sent to my house, personal house, saying that I have an outstanding bill with them. And I'm thinking, what? Now, of course, it's been 6 months later. That paperwork's gone. I lost it. It's gone somewhere. So now, what I'm trying to get at is the time, the time that we invest, the headaches, the things that we touch. What's been your experience
with things that you've touched that turned into a disaster. And the thing is, you know, Albert Einstein said it best. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. So quit doing things over and over again and expecting a different result. So I don't really want to experience that pain again, because now it interrupted my weekend. Now I was kind of upset about it. I thought, how am I going to defend myself for this? It's not right. I got to waste my time. So actually, the wife had to waste her time. She actually went down there and talked to them, and luckily they were very nice about it. And they said, okay, not a problem, and they took it off their, system, supposedly. So I just want you guys to understand some of the things that when you're touching things or interacting with people or customers or anything of that nature, what you might be getting into. So really think hard about it. So anyways, back to the video. Thanks for watching. I gotta get some fresh air. See ya.
So, another thing. This is part of my rant. Today is Sunday. It's my third weekend working about 14 hours a day right now. And we're doing a big fence job. So I just got a shower. I'm feeling good. And today's a beautiful day. It's 72 degrees. And it's just wonderful out. So, but another thing that's my pet peeve, bottom seal. Bottom seal, I cannot stand. I cannot stand bottom seal. It is such a hard sell in a sense, unless you're there at the customers doing an opener, doing a broken spring, maybe working on a different door, whatever, and then you have the seal with you. That's the only time I feel like it's worthwhile to change bottom seal. The reason I say that, because it gets to be so expensive. By the time, if you have to make another trip out there without doing it that day, it gets to be astronomical. If you're going out there just for that seal and you got nothing else better to do, by all means, go ahead. But if you got other customers waiting, it's a very tough, because let's face it, you really need to charge $100 for your labor, your time to come out here for an initial setup to do this. And the weather seal is, what, $40 to $60, depending on the size of the door. And typically people just don't like to spend that money. They got this imaginary thing in their head that they go to the store and they see it for $29 on clearance, the clearance rack, and they go, oh, it's just bottom seal. And it's like, it's not like the plastic you put on your windows when you're cold. You know what I mean? It's not universal. You just cut it out and you take that little sticky tape and then you take a blow dryer and voila. It doesn't work that way. It has to fit. It has to be the right groove. It has to be the right thickness. It has to be the right size. There's a lot that goes into it. And there's all different kind of manufacturers. So I just don't like messing with bottom seal. I'm sorry. It's just my pet peeve, my personal opinion. Also, just like the perimeter seal, it's a really tough thing. I'm not saying you can't do it. And if you're just starting out and you're just new in the door, you got to do what you got to do. Totally understand it. I've been there. For our business, we not broke. So it's hard for us to go out there for that kind of, small money unless you have it with you or you're there, or maybe you had an initial investment of installing the door and you broke a piece and you have to come back and that's obviously different. You got to do what you got to do. So another thing is, you want to know another thing? Remotes. I would almost rather give remotes away and get a good Google review than to deal with remotes. I've never had good experience with remotes. It's always, well, can you come out? And you tell them a price and they go, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. Well, what do you want? So I would personally rather just give remotes to people if they came to the shop and wasted their time and energy and gas and everything and said, here's a remote. Now you can look online, and the world is so much better these days. You got YouTube, you got so much information at your disposal versus when I first started out that you had technicians and that was it. And you had to call somebody on the phone and there was no videos to watch, or you just had to know how to do it. But remotes are a big pet peeve. There's just not enough money built into them. So you got to understand the margins on bigger numbers. The bigger the numbers, typically there's more margin in it. There's more room for error. When you're dealing with small things, I watched a video, I wish I could think of what it was, but it was explaining, somebody wanted to charge $20 to change a light bulb. And this guy, he was a landlord, and he said he's looking at his paperwork, and he's just like, and I don't even, honestly, I don't even think it was $20. I really think it was like $7 or $8. But he was sitting there, and he was griping about that light bulb costing that much money, and I'm just sitting there going, I understand you can buy a light bulb for $2, $3, $4, whatever, even if it is $20. You have to understand
the contractor, the tools that he had to bring, the time that he had to invest, to go pick up the material to do that kind of stuff. And it just blows my mind because I think in the world that we live in the garage door and construction and everything else, when you can get something like garage door openers are tough in a sense, right? Even garage doors, even residential garage doors can be kind of a tough thing. But I've noticed something. I've noticed something in roofing. I've noticed something in fencing. I've done roofing and I've done fencing in my career. Roofing is very, very good money because it's something that they want done. It's that whole mentality of you have to have a roof over your head. You can't have your roof leaking. It'll destroy everything. And then it also goes into they don't understand it, right? They don't understand there's felt paper, that they understand there's nails, that there's might be replacement lumber, which you can make, that can be some extra good money because now they got to tore it apart. We got to fix this wood. And and so that's where you make a little bit extra money. There's all these variables, right? And there's so many moving parts that they can't like really narrow down one thing, so they just will normally get bids, but there's more money packed in there and there's more room for you to move things. But when you do, let's just say a light bulb, and I tell you, it's going to be $50. You tell me, Dave, go fly a kite, because you can relate to that light bulb, right? You can understand. I go to the store, I see them for $3, I buy a pack for $20. No way I'm giving you that money. I will do it myself. But when it comes to other things, fencing, roofing, sometimes a garage door, there's more room in there versus smaller items. Smaller items, I think, are the death of me. It drives me nuts because it's such petty things. And I've had it where I've had remotes that they can't program that I've handed to people. I've had remotes that now you charge them and now the door is acting up ever since you touched the door. Liability, people. Liability. Everything is liability. What is this going to cost me? And how, and it happens. Things happen. But I'm telling you, you got to really try to veer away from some of that small stuff and always go for the bigger ticket items. Broken springs are a good ticket item typically because it's an emergency. You will pay whatever it takes to get it fixed, to service. And if you can do it relatively fast, you should be able to get paid for that. I always like to look at it like this. I try to explain to some people like this. Go to the airport and say, I need an airplane ticket right now to take me, let's just say, to California, to my boy SOS Garage Door. There you go. There's a shout out for you, bud. Let's say I want to go today, right? I go there. I want this today. And they're going to go, whoo. They're going to go, that's $3,000. I don't know what airplane tickets cost. It's going to be a lot of money, right? But if I push it off 6 months, whatever I can push it off, it's going to be a significant amount cheaper, right? Convenience. So if you can get there and do my spring, you should be able to charge a little bit more to be out there that day or the next day versus I can get to you in 3 days. You know what I mean? Like I always think about it when I'm broke down on the side of the road, I just call, right? I just call. I don't care. I want somebody to answer the phone, and when somebody answers the phone, they say, I can have somebody out there in 20 minutes, and I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm done calling. I'm good. Somebody's going to be out in 20 minutes. I can handle that, and they're going to fix my tire or fix my flat or whatever's going on with the vehicle, and they're going to take care of me because it's a blizzard. I got kids in the car or whatever, and they're screaming, and I'm about ready to choke them. Hug them. And so what I'm trying to say is there's certain things that you can kind of make money on, and I feel like there's other things that you're kind of wasting your time. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. It's a beautiful day out today. I'm going to try to enjoy a little bit of it since I got all cleaned up and I'm kid-free for a moment. So maybe I'll take a nap. I don't know, but I'm going to get outside a little bit. The sun's beautiful. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing great. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you can help Mr. James out. If you have any more window experiences, or maybe let me know if you're having a lot of window problems with them fitting it. I don't come across a lot of them. Typically, they work out for the most part. Not saying you got to trim a little bit, but you know how windows are. You can only do so much with them before they go push, and then you're just left with a pile of glass. Anyways, guys, take care. We'll see you on the next one.